Alrighty, everybody. It is about time. Hello, RNGeebus, or just Jeebus, joining me again to cast.
What's up, Trozz? How we doing today, man?
Yo, doing pretty good. You helped me join, or you helped me cast the crazy bracket where we were having everyone. We've got like a third to a quarter of the games this time. Before we kick us off, I'm gonna once again put up the prize screen, something I forgot to do last time. We have a decent amount of prizes in the works. We actually haven't gotten an update on these, so these numbers may have shifted around. But we had estimated that about $200 for first place, and top 3 get a payout. So winning today is big gain, because then you'll have 75% chance, pretty much, of getting in the top. Yeah. There's gonna be some cool stuff. We're starting with Kopiuyt, our 2-time champion, as well as Neeks. He'll be thrown down first, and then we'll be doing the usual. Just take it from the top. These guys are all in for best of 3. Jeebus, are you ready for game number 1?
Sure am.
Kopiuyt versus Nix going into first game of the day in 3, 2, 1, paste. And to quickly go over the decks before I take them off the screen, we can see Kopiuyt is running an Argeon deck that has a ton of artifacts, and Nix has a Voth deck that has a ton of control options and a gigantic creature in the Capricious Marauder. Let me get rid of the starting script soon, and we are starting for real. Alrighty. This is kind of the dream opener for Magmar. You just love getting the turn 1 Kahuta. So with the Kajuta down, could potentially get Marauder next turn, but that's a pretty sketchy thing to have out when he's got a tiny creature. So that's probably not the combo. Kopiuyt with the big pile of trophies over here. Nick's looking to get the first one for himself. And a Silver Guard Knight from Kopiuyt is his opener, opting to not spoil the Mana Spring, but keep it kind of close to the Kajuta. I don't think Nyx is going to get any value out of this Kajuta, though. Like, it's preventing natural selection from functioning.
Right. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Because charging the...
I've seen him play Drogon early, so maybe he's thinking...
yeah.
Drogon in the back.
Yeah. Drogon in the back it is. Seems like a pretty good opener to me. He's gonna keep all the stuff protected. Opting to not replace. This hand quality was just too good. The 2 sets of natural selection, the deep impacts. Which actually would have been my replace, because deep impact usually needs something to work with it, or something to take out. And with 5 mana at his disposal, Kopiuyt could potentially... Tempest is decent because it gets Kajuta off the table and puts even more pressure on the Drogon. But maybe Regalia and just start pushing face damage is decent too, to put some fear in that opponent so Nyx doesn't just attack. But it's gotta be shutting down the mana engine. You can't just let your opponent get freebies. And we see two power creatures dropped, so now the natural selection isn't even going to work to take out the knight. And with Drogon out, he can double his attack. And that's after the +1, so it would just jump to 6. But would be overkilling with that amount of damage, so it's not ideal. Deep Impact finally gets replaced, and even more BBS. So that is so much damage. If Nyx could turn that into phase damage, he absolutely would. But it needs to get out of this Lionheart goop first. I would guess natural selection to take out the lion, and then BBS to take out the knight. The Cryptographer is an explosive play with Drogon, though, when you pair them. Drogon making a break for the mana. Kopuyt's got limited options, but they're pretty good anyway. Regali would start taking chip damage, though. So it's not as foolproof as it usually is, but it's still the play. It's just that good. Pushing another 8 points of damage on Nyx. One more of those and he's toast. Nyx is in dire need of some healing. Can't do too many cycles of just attacking. Blood Tier at least does a little bit of work, but maybe the play here is run away into Marauder and to hope the opponent doesn't have anything to kill Trogan. But with Provoke coming and a second Regalia, this Argion's Authority, one of the new artifacts that's come to the game since we last had a tournament. We had a bit of an expansion. Everyone got a new artifact, and this one's pretty cool. It locks things in place, and armor doesn't have any reminder text yet, but what it does is it just gives you 1 damage reduction on anything, which is, it means you take 0 damage from something like a Shadow Dancer. Pretty nice.
I'm back.
Hey, welcome back. Nyx is getting pummeled, so it's dropping a gigantic creature. And Kopiuyt
Dropped a Capricious Marauder.
Yep, and there's no way to take out Drogon, so Kopiuyt's just gonna fade back. Can't mess with this 9/9. Might have to just burn the Hyperion's claim on it. It's probably gonna want to destroy the back unit with it though, to steal this, because claim, it's not really a transform, it destroys, so it'll trigger the Marauder's text. And if Kopiuyt doesn't play anything, Nyx isn't going to have any way of getting it back. Taking the single step forward, puts some pressure on, but doesn't get within striking range. Does still have a huge combo here with Cryptographer, Drogon. So claim in the back seems really good. It's 7 mana to do 1 damage, but seems better than whatever Wisp can draw. What? Kopiuyt, turns out, does not want a minion of his own. Huh? But why? Wouldn't just claiming the 5-1 be better? Maybe Kopiuyt values this regen circle and a 9/9 not existing. Nyx has a lot of maneuverability options, but this general is too tall to attack with 2 artifacts and 1 on the way. Even a War Beast bounces off of it. Maybe a Blood Tear is the play then to open up the Mechanter play. Just to take a single pip of armor off?
That's a tough situation.
It's getting worse. The Blood Tear isn't even going to function once the Authority's on.
Exactly.
It's the only play though, so it has to get done. It's technically progress. Kopiuyt's got the option to just tear through this Alchemist with an Alch of his own. Can refill with all these Wisps. Can push the damage immediately with his Immo.
I would probably Alchemist and move up in Archeon's Authority.
Yeah. Because that's a lot of insurance that you're not taking any damage. That's still far away enough that Drogon can't hit. And Argon's Authority turns off Crater. Well, I guess Alchemisting Drogon's fine too.
Okay. Yeah.
Turns off that explosive damage.
Playing it safe.
Yeah, because if there were 2 Cryptos, then Nyx could hit for like over 20.
But with all that armor, it would negate.
Yeah, it still wouldn't be lethal.
Some hits on.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have been lethal. That's crazy.
Yeah, Nyx's health is just ticking down very slowly. Needs turn after turn of like an Emerald Rejuvenator or to get going with a Saurian Fan. Whoa, bless you. You had like a robotic sneeze.
Wow, that was not me, but that was cool.
Kopiuyt can reach out with a Sun Wisp and just keeping the Tempest in hand because a Tempest plus an Immo is just a GG out of nowhere. Doesn't have the mana for everything. Can't just go Sun Wisp, Healing Mystic, Tempest, Immo. 1 mana short of all that nonsense. Kopiuyt playing to the board, expanding and fading away. I would think he would want to push to get this last bit of damage in. Yep. And yes, indeed, the crater into...
Find ways to chip away.
It worked. Well, until it didn't. Yeah, this was just the approach Kopiuyt needed to take game number 1 against Nyx. And these are all best of 3s, so Nyx has got to win the next 2 consecutively to get into it. You ready for game number 2?
Yeah. Yeah.
Alright, Nyx vs. Kopiuyt, the sequel. We're going into it in 3, 2, 1, click. Okay, we're back. Same matchup. Nyx doesn't get his cool opener this time, though. Could potentially Flash Reincarnate as an opener, but that seems weird, because Drogon will just die to a Tempest. But, how about a Silhouette Tracer to steal the mana?
It's a good play.
It's a rare opener, but this is solid. Okay, maybe it's like Kopiuyt doesn't agree.
It's right away.
Kopiuyt does not approve of this opener.
It's very strong. It's right in the face.
Would have had a really good turn 1 himself had he the mana that just got eaten. Now the Wisp and Lion can't both come out, so this Kopiuyt's opener kind of got stuffed. Cat in the back. It's so far back it can't even reach a mana tile. But that's the only place that's safe against Voth. Seems like a good turn for natural selection, because this cat is itching for a holy immolation on it.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best.
Yeah. And then Tracer plays to block the mana, and then Voth 1 step up. Or this works too. Kopiuyt could go for the full clear, which is best for keeping his Regalia online. So probably going to see a Tempest here. Regalia, not even a consideration, gets thrown back. Lightbender pretty good against Voth. He can just cancel out his BBS.
Yeah, well, it was a good replace there.
I feel like the turn 1 play is kind of put Nyx on a back foot for his hand size at the very least, because having only 3 cards in hand, Entropic K's at least can draw him out of that. But Nyx probably gonna just rip a Plasma Storm next turn if he can. Kopiuyt's probably got to respect this Drogon, and I'd expect a Lightbender to be dropped right near it. Kopiuyt's playing around Plasma. This Knight is too powerful to get caught by it. One line of thinking is hoping Entropic Gaze draws exactly the crypto so the BBS can be refreshed, but yeah, that is so low chances.
Yeah,
I guess.
Probably Marauder.
Yeah.
And step Drogon back out of reach.
Yeah, so Drogon can't just get hit by an MO easy. And a Marauder plays just below Voth to block the Knight.
So Drogon won't get Lightbendered either.
Yeah. How about Drogon's 6th round? This line of play was not foreseen. It's asking to get Lightbended now. But that would benefit the Marauder. Kopiuyt is in a pickle. This 9/9 cannot be easily solved.
Yeah.
But the best solution actually is this immolation in the face. With the cat? Yeah, he had 6 mana. Hold up. How's this for a reversal? Oh, and then he charged a minion in that died and flipped ownership on the Marauder again. So Nyx is back in it. Kopiuyt is actually at 3 hit points if... Or 1 hit point because of the draw card. Deep Impact doesn't even need to be cast because 2 Entropic Gazes was enough burst. Wow. Hot Potato Marauder. Wow. Yeah, you gotta plan out your turns when you're playing around or with one of those things because, yeah, that's a gigantic Hot Potato for sure. Good stuff from Nyx, snatching victory from the jaws of defeat. Ready for the 3rd game of the series. There, in fact, is a 3rd game.
Yes.
Let's go to the finale in 3, 2, 1. Base replay. Nyx is here to mix it up. Oh, we got the Vilings and Starhorn and such. So the Silvertongue Corsair is a pretty funny choice, but Vilings have been so strong. It's like a 1 mana infinite. Kind of a silence check. We haven't seen a whole lot of Silvertongue Corsair though. It's especially good against face generals like a Voth, but maybe it'll be good here. Yeah, there's 2 kinds of openers. The mech actually, there's some consideration of waiting onto the wings, because if you can play later, both of the 1/1s get pumped up. But you put wings in your deck so you can do this opener. So we're probably going to be seeing this, the block. You might think that dropping the wings directly on the mana is best, but dropping it right in front is a little better because you can take a save for yourself. Leftover mana for one of these things.
Okay.
Critical thing about the viling is it keys off of both players playing units. So it's really hard for it to not be a problem. It sounded like a glass shattered on your end. Like Thor just threw a glass on the ground. Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
I guess I've got internet connection issues today.
Must be. But for the most part, it's pretty good.
Okay, this is what I was thinking he was going to do. Yep, he's going to...
Corsair on the mana.
Everything here.
Yeah. It would be really hard to pump up the second viling, and the first one wasn't pumping up twice, so instead we see Silver Tongue into Maw. Silver Tongue's actually pretty sick against Kopiuyt's deck here because of the artifacts and such. This will just cut through it and doesn't really care about counterattack damage.
Yeah, it's a very good tech pick.
Yeah, yeah.
Couldn't let that guy get pumped up anymore.
Yeah. It was almost out of Regalia range. And the Wings of Mechazor are pretty handy to get it to 4. Even though there isn't a Mechazor theme, they're just really useful in the deck. Rare footage of Silver Tongue Corsair value. And a note about Flash Reincarnation, you cannot use it to double discount a minion because it says the next card you play rather than the next minion you play, so you can't just string these together. But next turn, I see a dragon in Nyx's future. See how that goes from. Kopiuyt cannot clear this Corsair. It's just going to come in for another hit. So I guess that just has to be accepted, but then any artifact that gets equipped immediately falls off. I guess other than the Authority, so maybe that one gets equipped. And then equip pass? Or I guess equip cat pass. Yeah, that's probably fine. Kopiuyt instead is going to be pushing a bunch of damage. Or just taking out this guy. I don't know, I feel like 6 damage to the general would have been better there. Oh. The real party is this thing. Can an Ember Worm be solved?
Yeah.
Kopiuyt has 2 major problems. There's an invincible minion, and there's this thing that'll just kill him in 2 hits.
Does he have a, what is it, meiotic induction? The thing that hatches or puts an egg down with the last thing he casts? Because...
Yeah, he's got 3 of them actually.
I can't remember what's in this. Yeah.
He's got, for Top8, he's also got Eclipse. And Thumping Wave is a pretty decent combo with all that. Okay, Corsair no longer invincible. And the counterattack will just kill the Ember Worm. But there is a +5 attack hanging out in Nyx's hand. Oh, that's it.
Oh.
Well, wow. Kopiuyt almost went 2-0 in this series. But Nyx with his rabbit card technology and his dragon and the Corsair? What a combo. You got the magic recipe for advancing. We're going to be seeing Nyx in the next round.
Those were... Yeah, that was good stuff. Good
Yeah.
matches.
Switching the Starhorn was definitely a key mix-up there. It really felt like, because it was just really great stuff that was coming out. Well, no Reva today. We saw a lot of Reva on the group stage. We've got Punishment versus Witch King coming up next. Punishment, also known as 7th Sky on the server. Witch King, a newcomer. So some cool stuff here. We got... It might look like 2 decks versus 2 decks, but Punishment actually just brought the 1 deck. So it's been split into 2 columns on the screen here. You can just see all the cards. Ain't it great? Are you ready, Jeebus? Let's jump into game number 1. Punishment versus Witch.
I'm ready.
Going in 3, 2, 1. Base. Yes, indeed. We're seeing Vitruvian versus Lionar. And Witch King is, I think, the only Zeron player running Blue Conjurer and get some Arcanist value in the late game, and Zeron loves sustaining until the late game, so that might work pretty well. Ooh, Rustcrawler is hungry for these gold vitriols, but it got replaced. Oh no! Well, I guess it's not a great opener, so fair enough. But I feel like Rustcrawler would have been a consideration for the matchup.
Yeah.
Sanctify is pretty strong. We've got a whole bunch of circles coming up for Witch King. Pyromancer is a card that's always existed. I guess it's here to showcase the blast keyword. And it'll be fine until Witch King finds any kind of pinging. But maybe Desert Scout is better right now. That plus Pyromancer, just got them both out.
Desert Scout is such an interesting card that you play it in the back and
Yeah.
you know.
Or you play it like turn 1 or turn 2 somewhere, and as long as if it doesn't like,
Yeah.
if it gets up to like the skirmishing zone and just gets gridlocked, then it doesn't do a whole lot. But if it can get a 4 damage punch for free, pretty nice. We see the Cosmic Flesh, so this Herald is extremely tanky. Punishment has made a large threat out of a non-threat. Witch King does not have much for options, just gonna slash it and pass. But Punishment could set himself up for getting a Wanderer next turn. Likely going to be seeing both the 2 drops come down. Might actually be a rare good game for Pyromancer. If this thing is blasting for 3 in the back, I can see that adding up. Which can't even relocate onto the circle to get the vitriol going.
Whoa.
It's a party back there.
That's rough.
Desert Scout can in fact hit face, so this thing could just punch out Zeron's lights. This has been such a non-game for the Witch King because of this Cosmic Fleshed Azure Herald. It's had one turn to be able to walk out and then has been stuck. And then ends up randomly damaging the minion that hands off a wish card. Whoops. Witch King was definitely aiming for the back line, but you can't just choose where that goes. And I'm feeling the Wanderer this turn. As cool as it would be to see the Desert Scout punch in, I can just wait. Maybe it'll find a better target later. Although there's some consideration for doing 3 bits of damage to the general right now. So that'll have to be something. Maybe even skipping Wanderer to get 3 points in. So Azure Herald attacks.
Blast, you could
Blast.
Desert Scout. And,
Yeah. Wanderer doesn't change a lot because it's not going to put a Pyromancer out of Gold Vitriol Blast or make a Desert Scout survive 2. But it's one hell of a setup for Kron. Punishment just doing the 1-card solution instead for it. Boom! Okay, well it was a stylish turn. Can't fault him for that. We got the mech punch, we got the blast. Witch King still on the back foot for just being stuck in passivity. Has to burn a Sunriser. Is at least gonna have turn after turn of Circle of Lives so it can heal out of it. But the board is running out of control. The Desert Scout could actually take 2 steps back and then wind up its punch again and go in. You can just keep beating on something. And the Provoke Minion gets used up just to push every point of damage. And that is a lot of damage. +5 from one of these Circle of Lives is not going to cut it. Sunriser needs to be put in the middle of all this to do some work, but there just isn't anything that's cheap enough to trigger it. Conjures back. This is like the opposite thing that's needed.
Yeah.
Ugh, might as well just melee the Desert Scout at this rate. Because without a healing circle to step on, there are so few options. Scintilla Immo? Whatever it is, it's dying to a Pyromancer blasting next turn. I guess it would be circle. No, there's just not that punishment. This was such a dominant game, holy fuck.
Yeah, that was really dominating from the beginning.
Yeah, what a crushing. Surely game 2 will be a little more slick. Ready for that?
Yes,
We're going into it in 3, 2, 1. Get him 2. Okay, might be a Pyromancer opener. Actually, it's probably gonna be the Obelisk. That's way more solid. I think it's like pieces of other like conversations that are getting sliced into your voice or something. Because that kind of sounded like a 1/100th of a hello. I don't know. I'll have to review the footage again.
There's no background noise. It's actually very quiet at my house right now, so I have no idea.
Oh, we got a lucky spawn here. Wind Dervish on the mana tile. Jeez. Doesn't get better.
Wow, what a spawn.
I would have considered the Trigon Obelisk, but we've got Cosmic Flesh just to take out the Knight. Just so Witch King doesn't have any kind of strong opener at all. Well, it might be time for a Gold Vitriol Blast to do a 1 in 3 to take out the Pyromancer? I guess so. Lost that 1 in 3. Well, maybe the Obelisk won't spawn hot this time. Yeah, it's way down here, so it's not actually going to do anything. I actually prefer putting the Obelisk into the center column because when it spawns at the top and bottom row, it just feels so bad. I'd rather put an Obelisk on the top and bottom row just to minimize that. We've got the King of Obelisks ready to go. I would expect it to be put between the existing Obelisk and Zaran, just so she can't chop the damaged Obelisk. Primus is pretty sick with the Pyromancer, though. And Mala's here just to tack on extra damage. Prioritizing damaging the artifact first over taking out this random minion. Pretty reasonable. Where does the Obelisk go, though? It's back there. Maybe he knows he doesn't have to play around Lightbenders. Because okay. The usual thing with Obelisk is you want to keep them out of a 3x3 zone so they don't just get Lightbendered. Pyromancer's been chosen for death. Oh, but look at all these Wind Dervishes now. And there could be another batch of Wind Dervishes too with Star's Fury. That is so many units. Might as well just get the extra 4, I feel. But he's probably thinking about where they would even move, because they'd be tripping over each other trying to take out these things. Doesn't actually need the Star's Fury. destroying every minion, so there's nothing to wholly immolate. These obelisks just such table flippers, especially this one in the back. This Trigon just makes an army every turn. And without any silences, Witch King is marooned on the circular island. Has to heal up the obelisk to do anything up front. Sunriser gets choppy a bit, but here the Wind Dervish just immediately clear it up. Looks like a Wanderer turn to me. A lot of damage has gone into punishment though, so he's gonna have to fall back. But has a big army to protect him, so it should be pretty safe.
It's not looking good.
No. My other place was pretty much a dud too.
Whoa.
Looks like punishment cruising to top 4 at this rate. Witch King, I was thinking maybe like a Tempest into any kind of way too much AoE, but even that doesn't even touch these obelisks. Was able to do a lot of general damage there, but if you can't do the last 10, it's like the first 15 never even happened. Has to run away from these obelisks because they're just way too damaging. Punishment is fine with this distance. And Witch King could heal up if left on alone, but this Nimbus is really going to keep the pressure on. Ugh.
I think I would have played it above the general.
Yeah, because now the general can just take a step up and then the Scintilla moves in. This works too. Only problem with this play is it generates an obelisk for the opponent. 2 obelisks, in fact, because a strike went in there? Wait, why'd you attack and Emma? Well, wanted to make more progress on Nimbus, I guess, but the cost is... here's another Wind Dervish. Nimbus is such a nuisance. You have to like transform it to deal with it. You're like Hailstone Prison or something. Trying to deal with it conventionally is kind of weird because these Soulburn obelisks, they'll take out even a panda. And with a third wish, one of the dervishes from the back jumps to the front. Witch King has been destroyed 2-0.
Yeah.
This punishment with this one deck is looking like the boss monster of the tournament. It's like this Wanderer just does everything. Pretty good. Alright, well, we'll be seeing some more of him coming coming up later. Coming up next, hey, it's me. I'm here. I'm facing Aridex, also known as Medium Punch. He's running Fae / Mave, so we'll be seeing some Silence Fae, or we'll be seeing some Death Wish-liking Mave. That's what I've got. I've got decks that are imitating Moggen and Norinator. My Moggen deck is what he used way back in the day when he was spamming arcs, but I got a couple mix-ups in there like the Foralu. And the Norinator deck, just the Wanderer Xerix with actually a couple picks that are new, like Crimson Guide and such. We'll see how that goes. Ready for game number 1 of that series.
I'm ready.
Let's go in 3, 2, 1, let's go. Okay. Check out our pile of banners. The plan is we'll have a pile of banners plus an extra trophy after all this. And we're going red versus blue. Hailstone Prison is probably one of the most useful removals because it gets rid of threats and nasty text boxes. It's actually a kill spell if your opponent has a full grip. And it's so useful it's not even getting replaced. Okay. Well, it's pretty good turn 1 if you can stuff their.
You can use it on yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Rift Beast. This is such a good one. Just get yourself one-sided double draw. I'm kind of pressured to destroy it immediately. I've got a pile of pandas. The 3-card combo in this deck, by the way, we got 2/3 of it already. We got the Gotatsu and the Battle Panda. And then I've got 2 copies of Deathstrike Seal to just do board wipes that way.
It's a great combo that some people just despise. It's so
Yeah.
good.
I basically never see it, but I hear chatter of it a bunch. I have a pretty good mulligan though, because Juxtapose on the opener. I could potentially burn it to take out this Rift Beast. Using up a bunch of cards in my hands to take out a card drawer seems like a good trade. And I've got both the Arcanists in my hand that like each other. Yeah. Well, Ardex had a strong opener, but my opener also hella strong. I got a panda blocking the mana. Going to just chop down the Battle Panda with 2 hits. That'll do 6 damage over time. But here's a Gatekeeper. An unreasonably statted minion. You can kind of play around it, but Vanar has swapping technology, so they can sometimes push it around. And this deck generally removes stuff. If I'm not removing it with the Panda combo, it's with damage. And putting 7 damage is going to take some convincing. So I'm just going to ignore this thing. It's doing a good work blocking the mana, though. And I kind of have an unplayable hand. These are all like pieces of the puzzle. I just need to drop some of them, have them chill for a bit. I'll just fade on the back row. Yeah, Panda can get the mana. We got this protected Owl Beast Sage.
I like how you moved him back to force Faye to have to move backwards to get to
Yeah, it's like, do you really want to take out this minion? You have to move all over here. Pretty awkward spot.
Yeah.
But you can't ignore a Panda because of the combo. And in fact, here's the Death Strike seal. I can actually just charge this Panda into something if I don't find the Gotatsu to trigger it. But there it goes. I'll need to find a new Panda. Unfortunately for me, Hearth Sister showed up, so the owl got annihilated. So the play here is either a Kindling or it's a Prismatic Illusionist. Kindling. Probably did that play because my BBS was going to be on a 2-turn cooldown, so I could only get the 1 card out of it for a bit. It is a really good card to have though, because I can refill with it. My opponent had set up to drop a Wisp and then unsummon the Wisp and then drop the Wisp and then unsummon the Wisp and then drop the Wisp. But doing a more practical thing is just take out the Kindling. So I might have been better off there if I actually went with the Illusionist and started spamming illusions. Because the BBS was off cooldown.
I was thinking, yeah, I was thinking that.
Yeah, this.
Use up his removals, so.
Yeah.
While he pings away at you.
Yeah, this Warbird's gonna start hurting. We got the Mentor here to double it, and I don't have lethal on the Mentor. At least I got this Sparrowhawk, so once I do have some stuff on the board, I can get it positioned where I need. So on that note, the Scroll Bandit's looking a little better. Because I'd love to get me a copy of the Hailstone Prison. Yeah. Just pump up when units I can. Onyx Bear Seal shows up for me. Just in case I need to turn a moose into a bear. That's an option.
Sounds funny when you word it like that. Turn a moose into a bear.
Yeah, it's Canadian Duelist. Then again, it's specifically a panda bear, so. As for what our decks can do here, Silence is pretty rude because it actually powers up the Gatekeeper. It might be time to lose the Moose. So there's a lot of silence to back it up. But you can't give Arcs a turn because I'll immediately start stealing spells and pumping up my damage. Ugh. So a Lightbender on my board and a ton of damage on my face. That's not ideal. So it feels like I've got 3 turns to find lethal because of this Warbird coming down. Yeah, Turning Wing can get me a little bit of heal. I could Panda 1 unit and
Boxed
then.
in.
Well, I have 2/3 of a certain combo. If I get a certain top deck, then the board's mine, but problem being my health already disappeared, so might as well do some clearing. 3/3 can take out the Slightbender. And between the Gotatsu and the Scroll Bandit, I can actually take out the Mentor. Or Sparrowhawk to keep it alive. Little do I know, my opponent is holding on to an EMP, which has some serious implications on this board state. One of which this bandit is being kept alive only by a buff. And there goes the elf. Toast. Game number 1 has gone to aridex.
And that elf.
That elf, I got so trashed by that elf. That elf carried pretty hard. It got like the first hit and the last hit and like kind of dictated my positioning. Nasty. Well, I'm determined to not get knocked out of my own tournament again. So, ready for game number 2.
Yeah.
Let's check it out in 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, down 1 game. Just need to win 2 more. Time to mix it up. Punishment's doing so much good work with Xerix Wanderer. I'm inspired to bust out mine. It's packed with all kinds of silver bullets. Like we got 5th Canopy here to just stop the Warbird entirely. Superior Mirage is kind of an anti-Magmar tech, but it has a lot of funny uses. Aridex has got some pretty similar options. Never actually used the Wisp last game. Didn't need it. Speaking of stuff that we don't need, here's a Rasha's Curse. That's not for this matchup. It is a very good card though, so it actually does find a ton of use. Just make a 2/2 haste.
Yeah, you can sometimes use it to hit something in the back too, but not in this matchup.
Well, I replaced and found a Crimson Guide. This thing inspired from some Kamigawa spirit. It used to exist as a Magic the Gathering art piece, pretty much. There's a couple inspirational sprites. Like, even in the old batch, there's a couple Pokemon. Like, Skywing is just Lugia.
It's a cool new card.
This thing is, yeah, putting down these 1/1 circles that I can summon something on and I get a little buff as if I had a Wanderer out already. And then I get the Wanderer out and then it's a double buff. Aridex is packing a bunch of Lightbenders, so isn't powerless to the tactic, but the longer I have this guide, the more zones I can make for myself. There's some consideration to just tempo out the Rust Crawler as a 3/4 on it. The funny noises actually might also be on my side because I actually switched internet service providers just recently. So this is the first time streaming with a new setup. Well, Rust Crawler is slightly bigger. Shroud, turned off Circulus.
Okay. This is good play, I like it.
Yeah, just keep running away with this Crimson Guide, making more circles. I'm lucky that aridex does not have a lightbender. Paragon does take out the guide and has to attack to take out the crawler as well. But my units have been destroyed, but I've been left with these awesome circles, so it's not that big a deal. Although, what, am I going to dispel one of them immediately with Lightbender for no gain? That sounds awful. So I replace the Lightbender.
Oh, I hadn't thought if a dervish spawns on top of that.
Yep.
It's the 1/1, doesn't
You
it?
get a 3/3 dervish.
Oh.
So putting a Trigon Obelisk near these things is pretty good.
Yeah.
You can also just put the Trigon Obelisk on it directly and it turns into a 0/10. Which, that's not the play. I really want this Obelisk alive, so I'll just have it up here. This thing is such a playmaker if it can do its thing. I think it's just gonna get hit by this Hailstone Prison though. I've at least got the spot in my hand that it can get unsummoned to though. Wanderer decks are usually more susceptible to Hailstone Prison just killing cards. Oh, aridex is getting into artillery mode and has some leftover mana to banish the obelisk. And annoyingly does have this malicious wisp, so I'm just down on mana and can't wander. Looks like options for me are the Sand Scroll Reader or the 5th Canopic. We'll go for the Canopic because it can use this buff. And Warbird now costs 10 mana. Which is a really funny workaround. Because the cost reduction stuff only applies to non-BBS. Gatekeeper's here for round 2. And the Moose is here for the flank. But it has not been loosed. My blood is rapidly escaping my body, though. If Vitruvian even have blood. I just assumed that this moose is getting loosed, so see you later. And I skillfully randomly have my Iron Shroud spawn in that zone, so it can't easily be camped.
Good spawn.
Yeah, I'll take that 1 and 3 all the time, because now this elf can't even do anything. I'll have to be wary of the Dagonos, though. Or Dagonas? Yeah, these giant fish.
Dagana, I say.
Dagana. Dogano.
Dagana.
Deficio. It's like a catfish, but
Big
yeah.
fish. So I had never noticed that changes your BBS to 10 mana. So
Yeah,
like
10
what
mana.
if there's this what if you're at 9 mana and you walk onto oh no wait,
Yeah, you can't go up to 10,
you can't.
and you can't reduce
You
it.
can't go up to 10, that's right.
It's like the perfect workaround bit that just seems to work. Mind you, I'd like it if there was like a visual bit, but at least you can mouse over it and read. There's a little bit of text on the bottom calling it out. There are gatekeepers everywhere.
Out, but man, holy cow!
There's just so much garbage like everywhere. I can't even escape these gatekeepers because they're in every direction. This Wasteland Wraith is kind of an answer to a board, but it needs to survive. Which ain't gonna happen with a fish in the lurkin. Could just show up at any time. So with 7 mana, is it really a Wanderer? Maybe I silence First Wish here. Get an option. So that cuts off my Wasteland Wraith into Wild Tar play. And hasn't really enabled anything. But at least this Sandstorm Reader isn't gonna die to the Gatekeeper. So I can just attack like this. This 5th Kopiuyt is keeping me alive, but is almost out. At least I've got a sand tile and 2 summoning tiles to work with. So it's a lot of zones to block. And here's a Wraith for funsies.
It's funny though, because it's like you have to do it.
Yeah. And if like something like an EMP showed up, I'd just be screwed. But this was it. And it forces the Dagono to choose on it. But I can actually get it back if the Dagono ever dies. So that's something. This is a pretty tight situation though. I can potentially put on 7 damage. Maybe 9 damage if we're counting the curse. But how do I not die to these giant monstrosities immediately is what I'm thinking. Stuff like this Oblivion Shackle showed up way too late. Well, this is technically damage I've got. Wait, with the Wanderer, everything gets +1. Hold up. Did we do the math on this one? Right, just +1 your team and win. That's how it went. Alright. Ayo.
That's how you do it.
Yeah, now I just need to make like a nix and sneak out of a losing position to win 0-2. All right. Well, groundwork is laid.
What a game there.
Yeah.
What a game, Trozz. What a comeback.
Aridex was hanging around, slightly too close for slightly too long. Underestimated the burst. Ready for game number 3.
Yeah.
It's the finale for us. Going in 3, 2, 1, paste. Aridex, also known as MP, also known as Medium Punch, versus me, also known as Trozz. And I'm just going to run back the same deck because it did so good last time, but Aridex is going to mix up this time. It's time for some DW. And I was doubting the right of the Undervolts, but I'm convinced on him now. He's got 3 copies of it, and they've been great.
Yeah, this deck, his deck, can really steamroll. When this gets going, it's hard to stop.
Yeah, if you can draw 6 and play stuff, and like draw a place another draw 6 in that, it's like it's real good. All I need to do is attack with Swarm King Scarab once. That's what this card feels like.
Yeah, you can hold on to that.
I've got this Metallurgist, but
Yeah.
I don't have the Dream Shaper to go with it, so it's kind of just a 2/3. I'm thinking I don't want my opponent to take my mana and have a hyper turn. And there was no hesitation on that turn. Aridex just immediately throwing down the damage with the horn. And this Carrion Crawler down here. The Wraith doesn't do anything. I could actually destroy the Azure Horn Shaman without the buff going anywhere, so I might as well do that. And a Trigon Obelisk in the middle. Wouldn't that be dandy?
Yeah, right above.
Yeah.
Right above the general.
This blocks Aridex from just going 2 steps up. Obelisks are a little bit of a liability though when you're fighting Chakrams, because they can attack the obelisks for 0 damage while hitting everything around them. So I'll have to watch out for that. Doesn't seem like a good matchup for Superior Mirage. Aridex has no answers for this obelisk here. It's just going to be spitting out so many units. Ironclad can at least dispel everything once it dies. So it's a decent answer. This Carrion Crawler could just die, so the Ironclad could be played now, and then the Ironclad could be sacrificed immediately with Malice. Is what we're seeing.
That's one way to do it.
Yeah, shutting down the Trigon is definitely good stuff, because this just carries. You just run away with games with this thing active. Kind of tempted to just Sunset Paragon here. I can't reach the mana. Although 5th Canopic is here. That thing fights Husks decently well. And while we're clearing stuff with Paragon, might as well be pushing as much damage as possible. The spam is commencing. 2 steps to the left into... Scarab might be decent here. I don't think the Wraith would be any good because I take a ton of damage anyway, so it just gets cycled. EMP is a nice way to turn off a Tombstone. Happy to draw that. And I can't really double spell unless I Sensible Reader plus BBS. Yeah. And the funny thing with Sandswell Reader, if you bounce a unit back to the hand, it actually goes back to full cost. So the DO discount is no more.
Nice.
Yeah, a little extra Sandswell value. One of the 2 chakrams replaced. Don't need 2 of those things. Ooh, Azure Horn Shaman helps the Vorpal Reaver reach the mana and then immediately sacked for a huge Reaver and a big Husk. That's a play. And I don't have any more Sandswell Readers, that was it. I could potentially make a trio of Celerity guys, but they disappear when they're attacked, so Mirage still isn't good here. Becomes a Lightbender, which is actually decent. Because turning off this Dying Wish is the real game.
Yeah.
I can't double spell though. Like I could go Portal Guardian into Lightbender, I guess that's the best turn. EMP? I do have 7 damage on this general right now. That puts Maeve pretty much at critical. 1 EMP connection is just game. I would just need to not die to the 610 Celerity. I've decided it's time for EMP and minion thinning. This placement may not have been the best though. Because now we have Chakram equipped and everything is sliced down in one go.
Oh.
Ugh. Maybe the turn where I walked here was not the greatest. I've got the Rust Crawler, but the damage is done. And aridex has the surprise double Desolator in stock. So I'm really at 1 hit point. Maybe we need to be throwing more Emerald Rejuvenators in decks. Six mana Wanderer? Actually, the Swarm King Scarab is what we need. So I'll just play that. But aridex does have access to just diagonal step into slashing my face. So I actually needed this Swarm King Scarab to block that. Or I needed to fade back even more, I feel. And Dagwana is here to get rid of the Rust Crawler. Not actually going to do that. Let's fish that instead. So aridex actually giving me more time than he ought to have. What? Yeah, let me just come back off this. I have another turn. Unfortunately, I don't have my removal on hand. So I need to replace and find some way to take out this fish.
He forgot he could walk through the fish, I guess.
Yeah.
After eating it.
Or the diagonal step into double Desolator would have done it too. So with my second chance, I will fade back. There's a minion tanky enough to take a hit from a Reaper and still be standing. And then anything up top for the fish. I guess it would have to be the 5th Kopiuyt specifically to not get immediately bopped by the Reaper. Or something to block it, and then put this up here. Silence nothing. Oh, that was definitely a voice. Someone's hacking the cast.
What? Oh my gosh.
It's haunted.
I have to listen back to this because it's just silence for me. There's nothing. Just me and you. Ghost in the wires.
Yeah. I seem to have bought myself a turn with my SimCity. Oh, here's another chakram. And here is a few too many dudes to deal with. Thunderhorn is good at taking out chunks of dudes, but he showed up one turn too late. Ooh, and that is the story all about how I went down 1-2. Well played. Finisher on the fish. Oh, well, have fun, y'all. I'm out of this one. Aridex is going on for the top 4.
You did well. You did well.
Yeah. I made it this far at least. It's nice to at least make it into the main event. And I'll have to come up with something else for next time. But I think I'll put it to vote, because I think the theme of the next tournament is a lot of votes. Because this one, it was just like, I'm running with my format. Let's do this. We got one more match. MushyMango versus yohkagamine, also known as Bao. MushyMango, also known as Shakespeare. That's a pretty cool alias. Do you want to go into game number 1 of the Face Sag versus RNGeebus? All right. We'll see if the ladies can take out Team ZZ. Going into game number 1 in 3, 2, 1, let's go. Yoka, I did some incorrect callouts during the bracket where I'm like, oh, this Yoka went 0-2 and 2-0. Surely that doesn't beat an 0-2 and 2-1. But then I thought about it for a second, and no, 2-0 is a bit higher score. So Yoka advances and is here versus MushyMango, who has a bunch of artifacts and is actually thirsty for more artifacts. He's just going to steal them with drop lift. Stealing a vitriol would be pretty rude, since Ron can't do anything. Oh, and good turn 1 vitriol. Oh no, don't do it. There's nothing to heal. Turn 1 healing mystic is just fine, right? Generic good stuff. We're indeed stealing a healing mystic opener. It's a pretty standard one. It's like the most common opener in Duelist, right? They've been doing this one since beta. MushyMango with multiple golems. As Time Maelstrom get even more squirrely. That would be a pretty funny way to reach out and grab something with Thunderclap that Yoka might think was position safe. At least this doesn't grant you an entire free turn anymore. That was kind of a crazy card when it did that, because you could just string them back to back.
Oh yeah, that is what the card used to read, isn't it?
If the duelist 2 players get to enjoy it that way. Yeah. In D2, it's the 9 mana take a turn as well, which they traditionally combo with the 0 mana Mechazor. That's how my last Vitruvian game went there. Yohkagamine gonna make it complicated to head towards these mana tiles. MushyMango has a Dream Shaper online, but is gonna opt instead for a huge slash. And even if all these golems were taken down, there's another golem that was just drawn to keep Dream Shaper juicy. So Yoka might not know that and just go for what? Sun Sister doesn't do anything. Too early for Trinity Oath. Sunriser not so much. BBS maybe? Yeah. Getting both mana tiles, Sunriser and BBS seems okay. But that would allow MushyMango to steal Sunriser the following turn. So I think the Staff of Yakir needs to be destroyed. Maybe focusing on that's the play. I'm not convinced by the Sun Sister Starope. It just gets replaced. Yeah, Sunriser BBS. Good way to top up Mystic. And pushes enough damage to take out the artifacts. Oh, here's the steal. The Sunriser belongs to MushyMango now. It is holding on to drop lift. Planning to get even more stealing. One mana short of the Holy Immolation play. Yohkagamine probably just has to... This Thunderclap would be a great thing to remove. But that's not available. The diagonal step into chopping the Rinse Striker is just asking to get cut down by the Sunrise at the following turn. But running away is for cowards. So keep in close range. Sunwisp draws more card draw. Oh no, overflowing with these golden vitriols. Well, I'll have to come up next turn, I feel. Ooh, MushyMango has another steal option. Healing Mystic now belongs to MushyMango. And this Thunderclap seeing a lot of use. At least in this game.
It's a great card. I'm glad it was put to 3 mana, so it's actually played now.
Yeah, it kind of puts Saj on the map though. It's like it's a reason to ever play this general. Half his minions aren't even his. There's finally an opportunity here for Yoka to do some return damage. But things are spaced out pretty well. I would guess Scintilla here takes the diagonal step and then hits the general and then gets an immo on itself. And then the Sunwisp can finish off all the artifacts that way. Seems like a good play to me. But we're not seeing that play. Ugh, we're taking damage from Sunriser instead. There was actually a small chance Yoka could have won with the Gold Vitriol proccing and hitting exactly Sag, but you can't really plan for a 1 in 4 to work. Sunrise Claire could actually do more damage than healing, funnily enough. At least while the Sunrise is around. Yeah, this whole immo really should have been 1 tile lower. Well, MushyMango's at 2. Coming right down to the wire. Every second of turn was used. Two hit points is kind of nasty, so MushyMango's just going to fade back. Hey, it's the Emerald Rejuvenator I was talking about. Let's see if it does the thing getting out of the situation. Really funny to have the synergy for Sunriser. What the fuck? It's like...
Yeah, I was wondering if there's going to be some synergy, and there it is.
Yeah, I was thinking it was just going to be like a healing mystic or something, but that's a pretty chunky one. So this was actually an excellent turn from MushyMango. Well, I thought it was good. MushyMango is not convinced because this Zephyr could have done more work. Or perhaps had something else in mind, I don't know. Alright, this is the one that makes your general frenzy. I was thinking about the one that spits out dervishes. This one's quite good for Sag. Yoka's got Blistering Scorn to do a double kill. Needs to get rid of the Sunriser to be able to equip a Vitriol, but... what are we going to see here? There it is. Scorn simplifying things. Yoka can finally equip an artifact without fear of anything horrible happening. Wait a minute. We've also got Sirocco here that is going to summon 5 golems. Here's a lot. And drop lift. I've actually come around to liking this card a lot since the expansion. They added a bunch of artifacts, and it actually comes up, even in fusion mode it was good, because everyone had a set of artifacts. So drop lifted the Vitriol, so any healing is immediately just going to bounce back at Saran. So this healing circle needs to be stepped off of. And Trinity Oath only heals for 1. Oh no. Gold Vitriol has such a low chance, but it actually seems like the only out. Like for yohkagamine to actually just equip a Gold Vitriol, or he's doing it. So gets pinged for 2 damage every time a roll is done and lost the first roll. Oh no. Oh, lost the second roll. Game over. Congratulations, MushyMango. That was a funny match. We had a lot of shenanigans. Excellent stealing. Synergy for stolen cards. Love to see it. Ready for game number 2?
Ready.
3, 2, 1, based. We are in fact seeing a mix-up. It is Faye. A lot of hydrogarms to keep stuff in place. Let's see. If I take a closer look at what MushyMango is doing, it's certainly a deck. There's a lot of stuff going on. I guess we'll have to have him explain it to us in gameplay style, which is to say it's time for Mentor in the back, or at least down here. Pretty nice artillery. That's a way to win a game. Maybe this is the game where Sun Sister Strobe finally does something. Because even though True Strike is a better card these days, I don't know if Sun Sister gets there. Yoka's going to be pretty happy to have a Draining Wave against a Bloodborne Mentor, though. Or Bloodbound Mentor. Oh! And a Sun Wisp to block. Yeah, it's just gonna sit there. It might have been better to charge it in, but at least this way, stuff like Healing Mystic can't find value. MushyMango could potentially drop a Lightbender down here to take out the Mana Spring, as well as turning off some night damage. Replaces and finds another Lightbender. Well, okay, it keeps both Mana Springs alive.
Oh, okay.
I'm actually fine terminating Mana Springs, but Mushy's gonna put some pressure on the top one. Maybe the positioning of the 3/3 mattered more. Yeah, I don't know. But it's going to be Warbird time as the next turn, which actually turns on these Hydrogarms. Bit of a lockdown strategy. Okay, Sun Sister is generating cards. It's like the first time I've seen True Strike in an action bar in like, I don't know how long. But the thing is, the True Strike actually made Sun Sister Strobe vulnerable to a Hailstorm Prison, so now that's just a lethal spell on her. So it could be a Hailstone plus a Mentor. It could also be Mentor plus a lot of damage. It could be Hearth Sister. Swapping things into Warbird is the Fate Classic. Keeping this Hailstone Prison for a nastier threat.
Yeah.
Although it might not work if it just gets bounced. Not as impressive as a kill. There it is, True Strike. A clean kill on the 3-2. It actually turned it into a 2-2 before it died. And has this knight way up here just to have some options for summoning things behind Faye. Ooh, the Wisp. MushyMango's stolen a mana. Jeez, that was certainly a sound. And it's only when I was talking with you too. I've chatted with some other people since, but maybe there's just some funny interference. At least it's not too annoying. It's doable. Adds a little bit of flavor to the cast. Jump scare for headphone wearers, I guess. So there's a lot of stuff. This Lancer, I feel, needs to get moving first. But there's not a lot. I guess it's just going to be Lancer BBS.
That one stolen mana is making a difference.
Yeah.
In this play.
Yeah, because otherwise could slam down a bunch of stuff and provoke this Wisp in the back. And
I think maybe step diagonal and then Silver Knight and trap them diagonally. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Right where the general's standing.
Yeah, because then the Knight can't. The Wisp doesn't get to the Knight. It keeps things out of BBS range. Okay.
And probably Vitriol. Okay, in the back.
Yeah, Yoka loves playing close range, and the Sunforge is going to enable that the most. MushyMango is probably going to have to fall back and do artillery style because this run is starting to hit way too hard. Is it time for Kron? It's time for Kron. So there is a possible Sunbloom for Kron. Just in case Yoka really doesn't want to be provoked. Doesn't have a heal option that he wants to use, so just gonna attack right away. At least the Sunriser's doing a ton of work here. And with the gold Vitriol, yohkagamine doesn't even need to move to finish this match. Oh, Cloud Caller could throw a snowball. Instead, it's Hydrogarm to stun the whole row. Which is effectively a stun lock. The copied spells don't trigger Hydrogarm that the Bloodbound Mentor generates. But the main spell is cooling down every turn at this point. So a whole row of minions just can't exist at the same time. And with only one more turn of gold vitriol, Yohkagamine might need to find a time to approach after all. Oh, vitriol 2. It's a turn to Yoth. So that gets rid of the Hydrogarm. The Sunrise Cleric seems pretty decent because Zeron's gonna do so much attack that Faye can just get one shot by it. Might want to advance 2 steps though. No, I guess I'm just gonna stay here because of the double vitriol, which is throwing out huge damage every turn.
I would use the cleric to help body block against the owl.
Oh yeah, Owl finds its end to
It's gone now.
huge amount of vitriol spam.
Doesn't
Yeah.
even matter. It's gone.
What a paragon of damage and toughness here. Oh no! The Healing Mystic is gonna activate all the stuff. Well, at least it looks funny. This is a really good aspect of the mountains, though. Takes out every minion. But the BBS is gonna be too much. Yohkagamine takes the second game. Yeah, so every game has actually gone to 3. We've had the maximum number of possible games. This is our finale. Ready to start this.
That was a good one.
That was really good.
Ready.
3, 2, 1, based. MushyMango has attended tournaments with the Faye Sage combo, I think 3 times now? I've seen it a bunch. Maybe this is the time that makes it there. Or is it the newcomer doing the Royal Road, which was the StarCraft slang for someone who shows up to a tournament for the first time and then just wins it? Turn 1 Cryptographers. Pretty nice. Turn 1 double Azure Herald is some garbage though. Yoka might even want to just drop 1 diagonally and then call it good.
Yeah.
Wisp is so nasty early game too, because it's just going to be affecting every single turn. The 3 mana turn coming up. Well, at least Yohkagamine can grab both mana and jump to 5, but it doesn't really have the hand to do anything with that. Meanwhile, MushyMango is going to be happy to drop a Kron next turn. Or get blasting with the Mentor. Guess we're just gonna be seeing a Sun Sister hanging out in the back. Or Sunwisp draws a card. Unfortunately, can't do both things, so it's gotta be either or. Might as well drop the biggest creature. Crawl in the back. A flying, probably the weakest minion it could have picked. But a 2/2 is a 2/2, and they just keep coming. And only 4 mana to work with. This holy ammo would be the whole bank. So we're probably seeing a draining wave into a face slash into Zeron just took 8 damage. Ugh. That doesn't seem great. Casting Holy Immolation on Sunsister's Strobe doesn't even trigger her text because she only cares when things are healed. And healing something at full health doesn't really do it.
Again, that 1 mana.
That 1 mana is such a pain. Can't even heal with the Sunsister Strobe to get a True Strike. Like, nothing is going right this early game for Yoka, it feels. Getting the mana back. That was probably necessary. And check it out, a True Strike. Which actually... Oh no, oh no. No! He didn't read the text on the card?
The right way.
Yeah, the card actually would have made Sunsister survive. And we would have actually seen the real value, but Kron, I guess, is doing Kron stuff. But yeah, True Strike would have taken Kron to 3 attack. Well, to be fair, the interaction probably hasn't come up, so it's fair to whiff. Here's something that comes up all the time with Faye. BBS into BBS. And there isn't an option to take out this Mentor. It just has to live. Sunriser can do some chip damage. And there's a lot of opportunities to finally chase down this BP Mentor. MushyMango doesn't have the 7th mana for AMP. Gonna have to come up with something else. Ideally, it would protect this Bloodbound Mentor, which actually could happen with the Cloud Caller. Yeah, because it's a good blocker, and it hands off this nuke.
The lesser.
It's so great. Why do they call that lesser?
The regular.
Yeah, what is Water Ball?
Yeah, I'd love to see regular Water Ball. And
Greater Water Ball. Yeah, exactly. we just need sprites for it, but this lesser already fills up the whole stream. Well, it's a pretty cool sprite. It's so rare. You basically never see it. But hey, it hands off a giant nuke for Vanar. It's some good control. It's kind of like, geez, someone making a lot of noise. Sunriser's getting choppy. No Bloodbind Mentor. Does have a copy of Lesser Water Ball, though, that the Mentor handed off. Quite nice. That's a hell of a spell to do.
Very nice.
And has another Cloud Caller. So you just keep it coming. Doesn't have 3 points of damage to take out this Vitriol, so gonna have to just drop another Cloud Caller. It's not gonna do anything.
Probably just about
Okay. Yeah, it gets it. It actually refreshes your BBS too, so you can use one and then immediately get this guy to use the second one. Well, double kill for claim. Yohkagamine down to his last card. It's a good card to be stuck on, though. EMP's here to turn off the Vitriol. And MushyMango is poised to win in one turn. This Trinity Oath is going to need to draw hot. And Trinity Oath finds some fine stuff. But it might not be enough in the wake of all the crazy stuff that MushyMango could potentially whip out. Because we got the 1 unsummon, 2 transformations, and the Aspect of the Mountains, which seems like it was doing a lot of work last game. Probably just gonna Silverguard Knight Healing Mystic. Seems generically the best. I don't know about replaces. Goes for the Sun Wisp instead to draw an extra card. Decimate shows up, but EMP is not going to be fooled by it. Blistering Scorn does more harm than good. Looks like this one's in the bag for MushyMango.
Yeah.
Yoka, I guess, yeah, Yoka's feeling that too, it just fades away. Scorn to finish it off! Dead on his own terms! Oh! MushyMango is advanced 2-1. Yeah, we've got our 4 advancees then. Going to the top 4, we've got Nyx, Punishment, Aridex, and MushyMango. Nyx, I think, had probably the most impressive steal. He was basically dead, and then quite the misplay happened that like completely table flipped the whole series. It was a spectacle to see.
It was a spectacle, yeah. They were all great games. It was great. Quite the adventure here. So.
Well, thanks again, RNGeebus, for coming out to cast. It's been a lot of fun. But I think we're done here for today.
Yeah, that was great.
Yep.
Looking forward to semifinals. Yeah, right.
Yeah, semifinals coming up next. See you guys then. Adios, y'all. Have a good one.
Cool. Adios.